Hello, family. It is I, Merlin, coming to you again. Today, we'll be discussing depression and my experience moving through depression. My entire life, most of it, I have just lived with depression and suicidal thoughts. And I remember the first instance where I realized that the people around me wouldn't really understand why I was depressed. And the moment that I realized that I think a little bit differently than the people around me. I was about 8 years old, and I was sleeping on my living room floor. And I remember looking at this mother cat who I had just watched give birth 2 weeks ago. I watched the entire process. I watched the mother cat give birth to the kittens, eat the placenta, clean off the kittens, the whole thing. And here I am, 2 weeks later, looking at this mother cat, knowing that we're about to get rid of the kittens. I remember actually crying. I started crying because I realized how fucked up it is for us humans to just declare dominion over other animals and to decide we know what's best. And just to take all of these kittens away one day. The mother cat never knows what happens to the kittens. They just all disappear one day because we decide it's best. And I remember crying over that, crying over the realization of how fucked up that is. And when my dad asked me why I was crying, I remember realizing, thinking to myself that even if I tried to explain it to him, he still wouldn't understand why I'm so upset, why it was so fucked up, because it was so ingrained into the dominant ideology, into the way that the things have been done for countless generations. And so at that moment, I realized that I feel more deeply than the average person. And as a result, I kind of moved into this state of constant depression, always being depressed with the state of the world, and not really being able to do very much to change it. How I started to move through the depression was, first I found coping mechanisms, and that only exacerbated the problem. You don't want to just cope, you want to resolve and thrive. And I was not resolving my issues, I was simply finding coping mechanisms. So, I want to keep these videos more brief, at least at the beginning. That way I don't overwhelm my viewers and don't overwhelm myself. So, I'm going to finish the rest of this video tomorrow, where I go in depth about how I've been able to work through the depression and what it's like growing up and living with depression most of your life and being at a spot where you're no longer depressed and how we can all get there. So I'll see you all in the next video. I love all of you. Namaste. Peace.